Okay, good morning everyone. Today we're going to check our homework solutions on the Pythagorean theorem. It's worksheet number 2, which was the front page of the packet you received yesterday. Number 1 we did in class yesterday, and just as a reminder, the solution to number 1 is 22.1. Here's number 2. Remember, we always start with the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 12 and 23 are the legs, so we can call them A and B. So that means we are solving for C. So 12 squared plus 23 squared equals C squared. So what we want to do is square both of those numbers. We get 144 plus 529 equals C squared. Add those two numbers up, we get 673. From here, we take the square root. We take the square root because we have c squared, and the opposite of squaring is square rooting. And rounding to the nearest tenth, c is equal to 25.9. Number 3, the side labeled 11 is a leg. The side with the question mark is another leg, and the hypotenuse is 24. So that means we're either looking for A or B. So this is how I set it up. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared, which is the missing side, plus 11 squared is equal to 24 squared. And what we do now is we take the square of 11, which is 121, and the square of 24 is 576. From here, you want to subtract 121 to both sides. Okay, and when you do that, you get a squared is equal to 455. From here, you take the square root of both sides, because once again, the opposite of squaring is square rooting. And A is equal to 21.3. All right, anytime along the way, if you have questions, raise your hand and we'll go over it before we go on to the next problem. Number 4, again, we know leg, we're missing the other leg, and we know the hypotenuse. So we have a squared plus 10 squared is 24 squared. A squared plus 100 equals 576. Subtract 100 to both sides. Here you are. Subtract 100 and subtract 100. And with that said, we have a squared is equal to 476. We take the square root to both sides. Sorry, it's a little crammed. And once you take the square root of 476 to the nearest tenth, a is equal to 21.8. Number 5, we know a leg, and the 13 is called the hypotenuse. So a squared plus 5 squared is 13 squared. A squared plus 25 equals 169. We subtract 25 to both sides, giving you a squared equals 144. Take the square root to both sides, and the square root of 144 is 12. So a equals 12. Number 6, we know a leg and we know a hypotenuse. We are looking for the other leg. So a squared plus 13 squared is 14 squared. A squared plus 169 equals 196. Subtract 169 to both sides, and we get a squared is equal to 27. Rounding to the nearest tenth, take the square root of both sides. So the square root of a squared is a, and the square root of 27 is 5.2. Again, if you have questions, please raise your hand and we'll go over it. Number 7, we have a leg, we have a hypotenuse, missing side is the leg. So a squared plus 11 squared is 12 squared. A squared plus 121 equals 144. Subtract 121 from both sides. All right. And what we're left with is a squared equals 23. Always round to the nearest tenth unless I tell you otherwise. Take the square root of both sides. So square root here, and your solution is a equals 4.8. Number 8, we know leg, and we know the other leg. In this problem, we're looking for the hypotenuse. So 18 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. 324 plus 64 equals c squared. The sum of that is 388 equals c squared. From here, take the square root of both sides, and the square root to the nearest tenth, 19.7 equals c. Number 9, we know hypotenuse, we know leg, so we're looking for the other leg. And once again, remember A and B, the legs can be written as A or B. So a squared plus 11 squared equals 24 squared. So we have a squared plus 121 equals 576. Subtract 121 to both sides, we get 455. At this point, take the square root to both sides, and rounding to the nearest tenth, we get a equals 21.3. And finally, number 10, we know the hypotenuse here. I'm sorry, that's wrong. We know the leg here. We do not know the other leg, but we do know the hypotenuse of 17. So a squared plus 9 squared equals 17 squared. Square those numbers, we get 81 and 289. Subtract 81 to both sides. Okay, and we get a squared is equal to 208. From here, take the square root to both sides, because the opposite of squaring is square root. And to the nearest tenth, a equals 14.4. All right, if you have any questions, please ask, or feel free to go back and watch any of these videos. They will be posted on your website. Talk to you later.